One of the things that I've noticed with our current economic state is a lot of people are going, I'm looking for a job. No one will give me a job. Jobs are hard to find. Half the problem is you're looking at your situation from a standpoint of someone needs to give you something versus you earning something. It's a totally different mindset. Start thinking, what can I give to the world? What services can I create? Because most transactions are really short term. I give you this, you give me cash. And that's not going to really create your own economy. You have to be about building a community. You have to be about building what I call internal churn, where the dollars continually circulate in your economy. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I went to the flea market, but rarely. I didn't like going to the flea market because you had to share the customers. And everyone was saying, hey, that's part of the game. You got, you're afraid of competition. And it wasn't that I was afraid of competition. It just looked like not the best option. So I created my own flea market. And the results are very good. They were great. I was because I would hear guys, this is before Starlight just took off. Oh, a good day was $200-$300. Good weekend, $500. A killer weekend was like $1,200. In our warehouse, we were doing that before 10 a.m. on Saturday. It's about volume, scale, and mindset. Give you another example of a community that has created their own economy, that has weathered this downturn, recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. If you go on Buford Highway and say you start from Lenox Road and just go all the way up to Jimmy Carter, you're going to see a lot of businesses started by immigrants. Now, if you're in the Atlanta area and you got the time, on a Sunday, say start around 11, just go from Lenox Road all the way up to Pleasantdale and just look at the parking lots of the businesses that are on Buford Highway. Just check out the parking lots. This is something I did. I even kind of did a video about that a while back. I noticed that these parking lots were full. There were people going in and out of stores. And those people were Hispanic, they were Asian, they were Indian. These people created their own economy and circulated that money within that economy, and it brought everyone up. What we're doing in this country is sending our dollars overseas with a quickness. The money's going over there, and what's really interesting about that, it does come back in terms of investment money that either the foreign investors buy property, stock, companies, whatever. So the money that we use to buy their services or goods goes over there, they bring it back over here, and they make more money off the money we gave them. I call that ultimate pimping. And we became the willing hoes. We created this crap NAFTA, and this is just my opinion. NAFTA is the number one reason that our manufacturing base is gone. We were so happy to get those cheap products that we sold our kids' future in terms of manufacturing to get those products. It's going. 20 years, it's going to be very few manufacturing jobs in this country unless there is a tremendous change sometime in the near future. Because it's going. We're having a workforce that's being brought up that can't think. One of the biggest things about having your own business is being a very good problem solver, being very creative. I'm going to give you some of the country upbringing of mine. I don't know if you read Popular Mechanics, but that was the joint when I was a kid. You would read Popular Mechanics, and they would have projects in there, how to make a racing car or how to build this pump. There was always something in there that made you use your mind. And you grew up being creative. Today, it's all about do. I want to tell you something I did. This is really strange. Sometimes I don't use my GPS or other things, and I'll do a map so I don't lose the skill, so I can find places. Because as you know, GPS will lead you astray. And if you don't have a general orientation of where you are, because there's plenty of times GPS said go left, and I knew if I went right, I was going to get there quicker. Just the way it was. When I'm saying, in terms of creating your own economy, you got to be creative. You got to look inward. There are so many ways that you can make money if you open your eyes. One of the problems with a lot of entrepreneurs, let me scratch that. One of the problems of would-be entrepreneurs, they want to create a business, product, or service based on what I call the final say. I have the final say when it opens, the final say when it closes, the final say on the price. Essentially, it's like the Burger King jingle. You want it your way. It doesn't work like that. Years and years ago, I was in the apparel mart downtown Atlanta, and there was a sign. Figure out what your customers want, buy it, and sell it to them. Most businesses do the converse. They buy something, then they try to find some customers to sell it to. It's like, hey, this is good. I think it's good. Let's try to sell that to Joe Q Public. And Joe Q Public is going, yeah, I don't want that. And then the people in marketing are like, what's wrong? It's a great product. You didn't do your due diligence. You didn't actually do a beta. You didn't test it to see if it was actually something worthwhile. This is all about creating your economy. Doing these type of things that will make sure that you have a profitable and successful business. In the world of storage auctions, or let's just for a broader term call it the resale world, when you buy something at a great discount and flip it for a profit, that's the resale world. There are many ways that you can incorporate storage auctions, picking, garage sales, and what I call unintended inventory. One of the things that if you are a part-time storage auction buyer that you will miss is unintended inventory. Number one, when you go to an auction, you should always hit the dumpster. Always. You will be amazed at what people throw away. You may pull something out the dumpster that's better than what you buy that day. It's happened to me several times. Number two, you learn to smooth the property managers. I was at an auction. It sucked. It just completely sucked. Everybody left. And it was one of those days I was in a very chatty mood, and I was talking to the property manager, and I was just like, well, I got my truck. If anyone's left anything in the unit that you don't want, that you think I may want, let me know. And she said, Jesus Christ, I've been looking for someone like you. Follow me. She's a little country lady with a cigarette hanging off her lips. So, I follow her, and we get on the cart, and we go around. This is my build-up unit. I've been putting stuff in it. I hate it. I have to get my son-in-law to move stuff, But if you want that stuff, it's yours. Could you take it today? And I'm sitting there like this. There's a front loader washer and dryer in there. There's a dining room set with 6 chairs in there. There's a refrigerator. There's rugs. There's toys. There's like bags of clothes. She's like, this is all stuff the people left on the property. You just be amazed. I was like, no, I wouldn't. I've actually gotten a washer and dryer from a lady that couldn't get it on a truck that was heading to California, and she was just going to leave it on the parking lot. Unintended inventory. The dumpster. Talking to the property manager. And also, this is not a one-off type deal. This is something that you make a constant part of your repertoire in acquiring inventory. Because one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, my first 2 years in the storage auction business, I hit a lot of garage sales, I hit a lot of estate sales, because I had other things going on, and I was getting like the bulk of my units, like 90% of them from U-Haul, because they had that Saturday run. I would go buy 6 to 15 units every month at the Saturday haul, and then I would go to the Monday. And it was like, hey, you get a lot of units in 2 days, and it worked for me. In the meantime, in the between time, I was pimping the hell out of Craigslist. I was going to garage sales. I was all over the place getting inventory, because the thing is, inventory begets inventory. When you have the infrastructure, the truck, the people, and you have a marketing machine and you're selling stuff, you need a steady influx of product in your pipeline. And you need different type of products, because one of the things I learned, and goes back from the rooter to the tutor, is when you have something for everyone, everyone buys something. You have this guy over here, he'll spend $1. You have this guy over here, he'll spend $100. You have this couple, they'll spend $500 on this bedroom set. And when you have all that stuff, and you look at the end of the day, and you're like, whoa, dang, that's $5,000 in a Saturday. That is called creating your own inventory. Also, another thing you want to do is groom your customer list. When I say groom your customer list, and a good many storage auction houses don't do this. A customer list is a database of everyone that you can get their information that's bought something from you. To get this information, sometimes you have to give them a sweetener. It's like, hey, if you give me your email address, your phone number, it's $10 off or whatever. That list is gold. It is gold. I remember Saturdays that if there wasn't a large regular customer base, we would have not had sales. That's how important that is. And when you build that list, and it's not a lot of numbers. You're thinking, oh, I need 2,000, 5,000, 50,000. You're thinking in terms of what I call internet mentality, that you need a billion page views. No, you don't. Right here, right now, if you were to go out to create a consistent customer base of 250 people that bought from you every month, and you had a wide variety of products, we're talking 5 to 10 grand a month. Right now, today. But there's a trick to building that. There's a trick to managing your data. One of the things I'm thankful for, when I was in corporate America, I spent a week learning how to use Goldmine. Goldmine is a contact manager. It's CRM, customer relationship management. Because when you receive data on the customer and you have your sales calls, your sales pitches, what you talked about on the phone, Goldmine is a receptacle that you put all that information in, and it grooms it for you, and it spits it out in a form like, oh, ding, I need to call Joe Blow. Ding, last time we talked, we were almost close to closing the sale. So when you pick up the phone and you call that customer and like, hey, remember when we talked on the 31st and you said you need to talk to one person? Are you there? Can we make this deal? When you pick up the phone and you have that type of conversation that's just straight to the chase, people are like, wow, he really cares about me. Goldmine is great. Closed a lot of deals that way. Do you take that type of data management, customer, building tools, and the thing is, it's going to take time. This is not going to be tomorrow. It could take you 2 to 5 years to build your own economy, but the thing is, once you build it, when I'm out in the streets and people used to come to the warehouse, so, man, when you going to start another business? It's been 3 years, and they're still like, man, when you going to do that again? When are you going to do that again? When I shut down the business, my old neighbor said for a solid year, every Saturday people come by like, hey, is they open? Are they open? Are they coming back? For a solid year. So it is very important to build your own economy. You don't have to have 20 million customers. You don't have to have 6,000. If you have 500, like I said, 250 to 1,000 regular customers, I don't care what the hell you're selling, you're going to make a 6-figure income. Now, how to build it, I have to charge you for that. But the thing is, I've given you plenty of free information to get you started. Because many people in the resale business are what I call one-hit wonders. Got this stuff, sell it, buy the next unit, go do the next pick, do the next haul, buy it, sell it. Whereas if you have a database and you have your own economy, it's buy, pause, send out an email blast, or what I used to do was actually call people. I used to get on the phone, and this took like 6-7 hours. I'm like, hey, got a lot of stuff coming in, this is going to happen, be there. Leave voicemails. And I got probably a 40-60% return from those phone calls. And just, 30-40 second call, like, hey, boom, 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 this is what's happening. Yeah, I called people. That's one of the little tricks. See, there's a lot of jewels here. And another thing is I drop these jewels in these very long videos because a lot of people, I'm watching 5-6 minutes and they miss the good stuff. It's kind of like If you want to hide something from certain people, put it in a book or in the middle of a video. Anyway, what I'm saying is, start thinking of economy building. Because once you build your own economy, what's going on out here? That's not a concern. You have your own population to sell to. What's going on in the rest of the world, that doesn't even bother you. It's like, oh, okay. I'm serious. I used to laugh because you go on auctions on Monday, you could tell who had a good weekend and who didn't by the way they bid. And they were like, man, you buy every week. Because I sell every week. So that's the deal. To build economy, you have to actually think that it's something worthwhile. To build an economy, it's going to take many months to a few years. To build an economy is a consistent acquisition of customer information. You got to stay on top of that. You got to consistently talk to your customer. You got to give them what they want. You do that, you could become rich. It's that simple. Now, most entrepreneurs are thinking, grow the business, grow the business, grow the business. And the customer is kind of like, not even secondary, sometimes it's third, because the product is like, wow. And that's the most important thing. That is actually ass backwards. Because, give you an example. Take my books. You know, there was a lot of people, don't tell people that it's hard. Don't do this. And, you know, run to get in the bookstores and run to do this and do book tours. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Because there were some things I had to work out. So instead of just like trying to hit this, what I call widespread distribution thing, now I can start to spread out. But see, the thing is, I have a lot more to give to the customer. When I started this, it was just one book. Now it's 3. And it's soon going to be 4. Then it's going to be 5. And then it's going to be 6. But see, I have that economy built. And I know what the people in that economy want. They want information that's either going to motivate them, help them make more sales, teach them how to start a business. That's my economy. And as long as I keep plugging that type of information, I'm going to be great. And I'm not on the TV. And I'm not on the radio. And I do very, very well. Because I have a focus on who my customer is. The guy who's in the lazy boy with the beer gut, smoking, you know, who drives a truck, he's not my customer. The guy who's watching the shows and coming on YouTube and taking notes and has gone to a few auctions and is really itching to buy some stuff, that's my customer. Someone in action, someone who's trying. Because I could have made a lot more money by diluting the product, making it super cheap, and just shooting it out there. And I also would have screwed myself. If you remember when this recession deal hit and how the automakers had all these incentives and they sold a lot of cars really quick, and then car sales just went, they went through all their customers like that at a discount. You blazed through your customer base really quick at a discount. You know, because those companies have shareholders, and the shareholders are like, you better make something happen or you're going to get fired. You're out of here, you and your golden parachute. And the executives respond by doing short-term measures that are great for a short-term balance sheet look, but long-term, they're disastrous. You see it all the time. That's why a lot of companies that have great products they're not doing IPOs. And there's a lot of companies that did an IPO, they bought their stock back and went back to being private so they can actually work on the business about making money and growing the company. Because you can't do that due to all the regulations that come with an IPO. When you get in the stock exchange, you better make sure that your stuff is straight. I mean, I know someone that went through it. They do all kind of background checks on all the principles of the company. There's a lot of stuff that goes with the IPO. That's a bunch. I want no parts of it. Well, you know, my company is not even nowhere near, that's never going to happen. But just saying, I don't want any parts of that type of stuff. I like being in control of GC Inc. I love it. I love it. I love it. I get to do what I want because I've built my own economy. And let's talk about the downside of building your economy. In the beginning, it's going to be a bitch. In the beginning, there's going to be months you're like, wow, I only made $20 this month. There's going to be days that you're not going to want to acquire customers. There's going to be days you're going to have attrition and you're going to need to redouble your acquisition skills to get more customers in your database. And that is boring. It's time consuming. It's not sexy. And it's hard. But that is the stuff that will make you wealthy. Let's also talk about this thing called competition. Competition only exists in areas that are easy. Say you're in the storage auction business and you say those things I hear all the time. I was like, I don't want to get too big. I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to do this. I just want to make as much money as possible buying a few rooms a month. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want to be a big dog, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you want to make a net six-figure income, it's not going to happen.